Penn State blitz.
Yeah, Chris, he asked if forward's a 5-star. I don't. I mean, the way the composite rankings work is that you get 247 Sports, Rivals, and of course 247's with Scout now, and then ESPN, and they merge them together with a formula that relates to stars and rankings and all that. And you move a guy 2 spots on one site, and that could change whether he's a 4-star or a 5-star, a 3-star or 4-star. Now, most of the time it's not changing it much, but I don't know. He could be a 4-star today, a 5-star tomorrow. It just depends how one site might move him up or down. But at any rate, he also wants to know about Julian Fleming, the star 2020 wide receiver out of Southern Columbia, and will Penn State land him? I mean, if you go back and look at the profile that Dave Jones wrote on him not too long ago, I think you sort of get the feeling that obviously his family's very close to him, but I'm not sure he's tied to Pennsylvania, Bob. I could see it playing out any number of ways. Penn State certainly will be in with a shot, though, and it will not be for a lack of effort if they don't land him, but the 2020 kids, they're really hard to predict this far out.
I got one real quick for you. Andre White, the Harrisburg High kid, the linebacker that committed to Texas A&M, I think a couple of weeks ago, surprised some people. A lot of people thought Penn State was a lock. Do you think James Franklin and his staff will circle back and really go hard after him, and do you still see him as a Penn State possibility?
There's no question. I mean, these guys don't just lay down and give up. But I think that, if you read Andre White's comments, it's hard for me to see him. He might not go to Texas A&M, but I'm not sure I see him at Penn State either. The comments that he gave to our Eric Epler just sort of gave you the impression that he was looking to maybe go somewhere outside of what current or more recent Harrisburg Cougars have done. So, will I rule it out? No, I'll never rule it out. But I think it's pretty unlikely. One more for you, Bob.
Yes.
Thoughts on the Pitt series from Mike? We did discuss this a little bit earlier, but let me just run it back in a little bit of a different light. When you talk about the rest of the series here, there's 2 games left. One at Pittsburgh this year and one at Penn State. Is there how do you see it shaping up? I mean, is there split possibility? Does Penn State lose to Pitt again, as they did in the first game of this series, or your early outlook of this year's game in September and then next year's final clash until at least 2030?
Well, when James Franklin talked during the caravan about we can't lose coaches to lateral moves anymore. We got to be able to keep our coaches. We got to be able to pay them the going rate, because we are a top 10 program now.
Right.
If Penn State is a top 10 program, they will win the next 2 games.
Right.
I know that they lost a lot of players off last year's team, but Pitt had some significant losses off their team as well. I look at how Penn State played the last 6 quarters of this series. They got roughed up in 2016 early in the game at Pitt.
Yeah.
But they were the better team in the second half of that game, and they could have won it. And they had the 2017 game in control, I think, from fairly early on. They have the best player or most talented player on the field in Trace McSorley, and I do think that my expectation is that Pitt's obviously going to go all out to win that game, but I do expect Penn State's offense to be the difference, not only in this game, but the next game as well.
All right, Bob. Well, that's all the questions we have for this week.
All right, that's a wrap for this week's Blitz then.